Rebecca Matter here. Some people say I'm an enthusiastic person, and some people might even think that that's what keeps me going each and every day. After all, I love AWI and I love what I do. But the truth is, my enthusiasm isn't enough to get me to work every day, to write, to attend meetings, to teach, to shoot videos. That requires motivation. I like to say enthusiasm gets us to consider walking into the arena. Motivation, that's what actually gets us to enter it. We often confuse the two, but I think it's really important to separate them. Enthusiasm is an emotion. It comes and it goes, just like other feelings of anger, joy, sadness. None of those things last, right? They're like weather patterns. Motivation, on the other hand, is a force. It gets us to do something. Now, you are motivated to do things every single day. Maybe it's your job, or it's getting everybody fed in the morning. Maybe you get a workout in. You're not necessarily enthusiastic about all of those things, but you are motivated for some reason. Otherwise, you wouldn't do them. But what about starting a new business or learning something new? That requires a bit more motivation, right? How do you get motivated to sit down every day and write 1,000 words, or put in 30 minutes every day to build your writing business? And what if it's uncomfortable because you've never done it before, or you're not seeing massive progress every single day? What can you do to activate that force? And how do you keep it going every single day? What gets you to do the thing that you want to do? Last year, I found the answer, a way to summon motivation to achieve what you want. And I shared it with a group of writers going through a training that I'm running called the 80 by Model for building a thriving zero client writing business. In it, each person is building a scalable business, following the business model that we use to build AWI and numerous other publishing ventures. I knew it would help them stay motivated to keep their forward progress going. And today, I would like to share it with you as our Monday Morning Jumpstart and show you how to implement it into your daily routine. Let's check it out. The reason I want to talk about this really comes down to motivation. Right now, you're motivated, right? You just signed up for a training. You believe in it. You believe in yourself. You're feeling great. That's great for this moment in time. But we know, right? There's a life out there. There's a world out there. There's things that are going to be pulling at us in any given moment. So what I want us to do is to make sure that we create a solid foundation so that motivation continues in the weeks to come and even after the training is done. So the way I'm a big fan of Brendon Burchard. I don't know if you all have listened to him or read any of his stuff. I have some great books I can recommend. But his whole thing around motivation is this idea of summoning it, right? And really pulling to it, that ambition, that calling up ambition to get you motivated on a regular basis is the key to sustaining motivation over time. And I'll share a quote at the end from him, but you can't lose motivation if you are constantly summoning it. So I want to start here at the very beginning. What is it that you want? Why are you doing this? Like, if you, and we do this at AWI and other programs too, we talk about your why, right? The bigger picture. But I want you to think about what it is that you want from this business. Like, why are you doing this? It could be for money. It could be for legacy. Take it a step further. Like, when you think about what you want, I want you over the next week to really think about it. Is this going to be your sole business? Do you see yourself working on this full time? Do you think that you'll eventually have people helping you? And again, this is like 5 years out. We're just planting a flag out there, just saying, if I were to sit back and I dreamed about my dream business, and it could possibly change as we introduce you to people and as we talk about things, it's going to change. But in this moment in time, when you kick back in your chair and you just let your brain go and you don't overthink it, what do you want? What is it? What does the business look like? What does your day look like? Like, is it a full-time, fully immersive, like, let's go and get this thing as big as we can possibly get it because you're super competitive and you like to keep going? Or is it much more passive? Like, I really want the lifestyle where I just kind of show up, I do a couple things, and then I go about my day. They're both great goals. Neither one is right nor wrong. It's you. So when you view the business, what do you view it as? How do you, and I'm talking 2 years from now, the next couple months, it's going to be kind of messy and doing and growing, and it's going to be a little bit elevated, and it's going to come back down and go back up, and it's going to be all the things. In 2 years, when things are stable and consistently growing, what does that look like for you? And then right next to that, why? Like, why do you want this thing? And again, money is money. Why do you want the money? Control is control. Why do you want control? If you can get clarity into this and you can tie to this on a regular basis every day, you will never have to worry about motivation falling. One of the things I do every single day is I rewrite down my goals every day, every single day. What is it that I want? What is it that I want in general? What is it that I want from today? Every single day. Because if you start here, there's never going to be a day where you're like, if only I had some motivation. No, if you tie into what that dream looks like 2 years from now, and you sit there for 5 minutes thinking about it, seeing it, feeling it, living it, doing it, you're like, I got to get to my desk. I can't wait to get to my desk because it's motivating, right? Heather, Katie, any additional thoughts about this, or what would you add into this idea of mindset?
I always have thoughts. I love what you're saying about motivation. And one of the biggest things that I've ever learned about motivation actually came from Mark Manson. I can't name the titles of his books because they're not safe for work. But he talks about how we tend to wait for inspiration. And then when we get inspiration, we take action, and then action brings motivation. But we can actually take action anytime we want to without inspiration or not. And then that action leads to more motivation, which leads to more inspiration. And you can create this cycle. So by really tapping into what you want and why you want it, and then making sure that you're moving that forward every day, you just keep feeding that little motivation fire so that it never goes out. And you don't have to wait for something to come along and make you motivated. You can motivate yourself.
Right. I love that. And I think another way of motivating is thinking about who you're going to be helping. Who are the people that are going to benefit from why you're doing this and what it is you're creating? There's the immediate impact on your family, your friends, your circle, and how are their lives going to change when your life changes? I think that's something that motivates me and keeps me going. But also, whatever business you're creating, chances are it's going to be the result of some kind of problem that you want to solve for people, or some kind of help you want to give people, or some kind of enjoyment, something that people are going to be happy about. And, that's a pretty cool way to spend your day. Like, we say this all the time, we're changing people's lives. That gets me out of bed in the morning. That's a reason to do what we do. And I think if you can put it in those kind of terms too, of like, what's the result of what you're going to be doing? Who all is it going to impact? That's a motivator as well.
And it's okay if your thought is about like the money piece too, right? Like that can be a motivator.
That's changed my life.
Katie has a box in her room where she literally writes down every year. We talk about it. She writes down the goals. She puts them in the box, and being each other's accountability partners, I know what's in that box. So I know all the time what she's focused on. And that is a big part of us. Like for me, my motivation right next to, I love the success stories. I love the specificity of, I can sit here and I can name person after person. I can tell you their story. And to me, that is just like, it just fills me up. But the thing that also lights me up that like is time, like Ted Capshaw talked with us earlier this year and asked our team, what lights you up? Like what is it about your job or the things that are around you that does light you up, and can you push harder into that? And when I walked away from that session, which is kind of what motivated me to do this, what lights me up is getting a chance at bat. And I don't always hit it out of the park, but I like to win. I really am competitive, and I like it. I like the measurement. I like the measurability of direct response. I like the measurability of business. I like the measurability of marketing and numbers. And I'm not even really a good celebrator. Like I just go on to the next, like, let me up at again. I really like that feeling. it might not be your feeling, right? We all have such different feelings. And I bring it up just to kind of show the different levels of whatever you're feeling. It doesn't have to be a certain way. It's not for anybody else but you. But I want you to get clarity in what lights you up, because that's what you're going to be summoning every day. Brendon Burchard talks about summoning ambition. You don't need motivation. You don't need things like that. You need to like raise your ambition every single day. And how do you raise your ambition? You think about, like what Katie said, could be longer term, like who you're helping, and that could be. And you could also just think about like the win on the other side. We're going to get to some of the journey pieces in a second, but it's okay to think about the win. It's okay to think about what it will look like, feel like, taste like, whatever, when you win. And that's that summoning ambition. Like if you're running, or if you're training for a marathon, right? What is it going to feel like to be done? Like to know that you can tell your friends and family that you went from the couch to a freaking marathon, and you have a medal to. I have a half marathon picture that I keep in my office. I'm not athletic at all, but I was determined to run a half marathon. And I will tell you, having that picture in my office reminds me that it is important to summon or raise ambition daily, because I couldn't have done it had I not gotten in a group, and I trained with a group, showed up every day, I clocked my hours and got there and visualized that medal at the end. That's really all I wanted, was just to know that I had done it and be able to tell other people that I had done it. I want you to write it down. It can be paragraphs. It can be one statement. It can be like Katie's box on a slip of paper where she just sticks it in. Write it down. And I put the word daily under there. I'm not going to make anybody do any practices, but I will tell you, I've been doing this for about 1.5 years now, writing it down daily. I don't care, on your darkest day, on your least amount of sleep, the kids woke you up 4 times last night, on your hardest days, if you can start your day writing down your goal, what happens with your brain? It's right there centered up into why you're doing this, for the kids, for your friends, for the people that you're helping in the world. Writing it down. What is it that you want? Pulls everything into perspective and gets you to your desk with that focus in mind. Don't look at the news. Don't read social media. Don't open your emails. Don't even put nothing in your head other than what is it that you want? Because when you do that, everything else just becomes a little bit less important, right? We stop looking for other things because we're like, oh, I want that. Shoot, I got to go right now. And there's nothing that gets me more vibrating and anxious to start my day working than focusing on that. Pretty simple, right? I agree. But let me just tell you, it is incredibly powerful. Last Friday, I completed my final goal for the year, a whole month early. And let me just say, my goals were far more aggressive this year than in years past. But don't take my word for it. Just try it for yourself. Even if you just commit to raising your ambition every morning for the rest of this week by writing out your goals, my guess is you're going to notice a difference. Here's to a great week. Bye.